All right. Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for joining us on this awesome, much awaited v.41 new feature announcement session. Um, thanks to it's awesome because thanks to NetSapiens, all these feature requests, most of these feature requests you've been asking for, they're here. So, and we are finally implementing them. As we discussed in the morning session, we are releasing v.41 when, Marissa?
Friday at midnight.
Friday at midnight, we're putting out v.41. We've been testing in Sandbox for quite some time. We're actually putting out v.41.1, which has some tweaks and bug features, bug fixes, stuff like that. But the important part is it's here. So, with that said, you guys know exactly who I am, so I'm not going to introduce myself. I do want to introduce my lovely daughter, Marissa Orsini. Don't let the age fool you. She's been with us since she was 11. She's been with us many, many years, and she's run every department in the company, or she's worked every department in the company, and she knows NetSapiens inside and out. So she's going to be doing most of the presentation. Marissa, say hi and introduce yourself.
Hi guys. So most of you already know me, and if you were on the kickoff, you would have seen me. I'm Marissa. Like Ray said, I'm his daughter. I see a lot of familiar names on here. Hi Lauren. Hi Daniel. And I primarily work with our white label and channel partners, making sure that they're good to go, getting our white label partners onboarded and getting them set up and branded. And it's really great. And I also work, I do a lot of back-end stuff with NetSapiens as far as the custom programming things that you guys have seen and things like that. So it's really good to be here. I'm excited to get started. With that, I'll go ahead and jump into it. Alrighty, so a lot of things coming with v.41. As most of you are already aware, and I'm sure you're already very excited, we have multi-factor auth, single sign-on, speech-to-text, text-to-speech, sites, which you guys have heard us talk about ad nauseum. We are going to offer fax, MMS, group chat, reworked contact panel, Snap HD, which we'll go into a little bit further on, as well as minor improvement and bug fixes. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that while we are releasing v.41 Friday at midnight, like Ray said, some of these features are going to be rolled out in the coming months. So not everything is going to be available right away, just as we get things tested and ready to go. With that, let's jump into it.
And guys, remember, this is meant to be interactive. So if you have questions, we are going to go. There's a lot of stuff. There's a lot packed into v.41, and we're going to talk about some of the new things coming out too. We only have an hour, so we're going to go things at a kind of high level. If you have questions, ask, and we may bring you on. And I see a certain person here from NetSapiens, so I may actually bring him on too if he's available. But go ahead, Marissa.
Alrighty, so first thing getting into it is multi-factor authentication. This is one of the features that we've been so excited about, and I know that you as partners taking your clients and your own security very seriously has been something you guys are super excited about too. It's really easy to use. As of right now, it currently only works with Google Authenticator. It uses one-time password for those of you who are, not aware. Very easy to set up. It does have to be done from the user themselves. On our new, Alevio site, VoIP docs that you guys have already been made aware of, there are already instructions for all of this. But really easy to do. From the profile tab, you go in, you click Enable Setup Google Authenticator, scan the QR code, enter the one-time code, and then when you're good to go, once it's been enabled, next time you log in, it'll prompt you for that code.
So real quick, just to touch on that, the TOTP, which is what that is, time-based one-time password, that will work with anything that supports TOTP. And here's I'm a little terrified because the VP of engineering, Chris Ocker, the guy who had the hand in making these feature releases, is in the chat. So if I say anything incorrectly, he's going to call me out in a heartbeat. But not just Google Authenticator, it'll work with really any TOTP app. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong. But yeah, that'll work.
Alrighty. Next is SSO. So single sign-on is supported with Google and Office 365. For our white label partners, there is some additional setup with that. You will have to, set up some on your Google Developer and Azure accounts. But that's, again, like I said, we already have documentation available for that. It can be enabled per domain, so if you don't want it for everyone, you can turn it on and off as needed. It will be supported. It's supported currently on the portal, Snap Mobile Web, and Snap Mobile 3.0 with users with for users with existing account access. Now, one thing to keep in mind is they do have to have existing access, so they will have to log into the portal at least the first time and get set up there. Another quick note on that is SSO does bypass any multi-factor authentication that you have. So if they choose to log in with O365, it won't prompt that for that security code.
Yeah, that's a good point. So my takeaway on this was, if you're using Duo or something else, or YubiKey or something like that, chances are the people doing that already have it set up with 365 or G Suite. If you have it set up with 365 or G Suite, Google, whatever, it's going to work because it's going to authenticate against those mechanisms. So when you go to single sign-on with G Suite or 365, it's going to prompt that MFA that you have set up that way. So you will be able to keep those same workflows, very low barrier to entry for your people, and you will be able to enable or disable SSO on a, what is it, Marissa, per domain, per user basis?
It's it's per domain.
And we'll absolutely support branding for the different white label partners. So, again, we don't want OIT showing anywhere for our white label partners. So hopefully that answers your question, CJ and Henry.
Alrighty. Next thing is speech to text. This is actually something I'm extremely excited about. So a lot of you are familiar with those auto attendants when you call into, those bigger voice companies, or really any kind of, mainstream company that has tech support, where you call in and it'll say, what can we help you with today? And it'll, you can say things rather than just, pressing options, which sometimes can be a little easier. We now do offer mid-call speech detection for auto attendants. Very easy to use and set up within your option. When you create an auto attendant, after you've configured your options, in that options button, there will be a tab called speech keywords, and you can assign speech keywords to each assigned key press. It's also supported in the directory.
So I'm asking Chris if he wants to join in and talk, because this was speech to text and text to speech that we'll discuss separately. These were highly requested things. These were features that, some of the other people, not the bigger boys, right? Not the Ring Centrals, not the, those guys, but, stuff like Dialpad and Grasshopper and, some of the other ones, Nextiva, had very advanced features when it came to this. And two of the things we get all the time is, can somebody automatically record from text to speech my auto attendant? And can we get speech analysis in our call queues and auto attendants? And this is pretty awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, very honored. Chris Ocker is saying yes, he will join. Kevin, can you enable his video, please? Because this is one of those features we absolutely love. This is fantastic, and it's pretty badass. But I'd love to hear from Chris as to why it was so important to get it enabled for v.41.
Hello.
Hey, Chris, how you doing, man?
Hey, Ray. How's it going? Good.
Yeah. So, I mean, speech to text, text to speech, super important, super awesome. You want to speak a little bit why it was so important to get this enabled for v.41?
Yeah, I mean, we hosted our user group a year or so ago, and this blew away everything as far as the usability, and it's really, or as far as the client interests, and it's really only gone up since then. And it's really the kind of the sneaky side of the feature enhancements that really are the most powerful, meaning the setting up a new user and having it auto record their name, auto record their voicemail greetings, saving those key steps, and then being able to do the the speech to text keywords, and it's surprisingly effective. It really is. It's amazing that you can say certain things, and then we send data to the transcription vendor, so we really help tell them what they're looking for, which is really helps with the power in word mapping, word matching, including last names, complicated names, company names. Those things even can match when if you don't tell them what we're looking for, it's harder to do that. So pretty cool feature. We're excited about it for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's you talk about like those little efficiencies we gain by not having to record people's names. And when you're doing a 50, 200 to 2,000 person deployment, those seconds add up, right? The 30 seconds, 45 seconds a user makes a big difference.
For sure. Yeah. And even, being able to have yourself in the directory from day one, with the correct, in most cases, correct pronunciation of the last name. We even got mine correct, which isn't done that often by anybody.
Nice.
So yeah, it's really nice there.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, that's a big deal, right? The fact that uniformity, you hit on it just before I got a chance to say it, but one of the things we struggle with, if the name's not recorded, then when they do dial by name, it doesn't, there's nothing to play back. Having this automatically there from minute one, that makes it so much easier, dude. So thank you very much. I really, really, really appreciate it. And we're using what? We're using, was it Google or AWS? I apologize for calling you on the spot.
Yeah, we right now the speech to text is Google backed. The text to speech is, we got 4 different vendors in there.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the Google allows us through our testing really the best matching, the quickest. Obviously, when you're matching real time, you need that instant feedback. You can't send this out and wait for a couple seconds. It needs to be right away. So really, Google provided us the really the only one that worked for the use cases at this point. So Google's the vendor for that, and then multiple vendors for them.
And much more human sounding than a lot of.
Yeah. With text to speech, it's fun to play with, the different voices. Everybody has a little bit different, but, I was surprised by some of the results. Google has a pretty good voice with the Google WaveNet technology, but some of the other vendors, do pretty well, including IBM Watson actually has some voices that sound as good as anything. So pretty fun to play with.
Awesome. Yeah. And if you can see there in the screenshot, you guys will be able to pick the voice you want from a preset list of voices, which is really awesome. Again, that customization. I appreciate you, Chris. Thanks so much, man. I'll let you go so we can keep moving on, because we'd use you the entire time, and you're on a session. You're on the API session.
Yeah, so I'll be there Thursday, I think.
All right, Marissa.
All right, thank you so much for that, Chris. Really great insight. I really appreciate it. Like Chris said, and Ray, you guys can do multiple voices with this. One of the issues, and I know that text-to-speech has actually been a big request from partners on our side as well, and I know, Ray, you can attest to this. It's been really hard. We were very hesitant to give even recommendations to services because of how difficult it sounded. How difficult it was to find somebody that sounded good. We went through and listened to all of these, and guys, they're actually extremely impressive. So again, kudos again to the Sapiens team for getting all of this together. But yes, so you can set text-to-speech domain default greetings. So when you do set up a domain for my resellers and white label partners, when you guys set them up, you'll be able to set default voicemail greetings using that text to speech and selecting a voice, and users can then change those voices and those personalized greetings for themselves. And as you can see here in that same, voicemail options. And you can also customize recorded name, auto attendant, intro greeting, and menu prompts, message to agents, and I believe as well, it's not listed here, but intro greetings on music on hold can also be configured for text to speech. So a lot of different options for all of those automated messages that, I know everybody's really big fans of. After that, we have sites, and I know sites has been something that we have been talking about extensively. Sites is defined as a configurable group of users and applications inside of a domain. What that really means is, for a lot of our partners and for ourselves, we have, multi-location clients. And some of those clients may or may not be more involved in managing each other. So, for example, doctors' offices, we've all got those clients that have office managers at each location, and they're kind of almost independent of each other as far as managing their phones and managing their own users and things like that. But it's still beneficial to keep them within a domain because they are the same company. Sites gives you that additional layer of granularity where you can configure users, call queues, conference bridges, auto attendance, music on hold, and by extension, phone numbers and MAC addresses into specific sites and apply defaults to those sites. As you guys can see here, I can set customized caller ID name, 911 caller ID, dial permissions, even time zones. To specific sites. We can assign site managers who can only view users within their own sites, only view call queues and things like that within their own sites, to just add that additional view. Their scope is almost identical to an office manager. They have the same kind of layout and view. Again, it's just all filtered out to that specific scope.
So Marissa, Alex Wright from Prism Technologies just asked a question, and I don't remember this in the testing. The directories, are they per site? Are they available per site right now?
Directories, I don't believe so. Maybe Chris can, clarify in chat if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
I don't believe
I
at
hate
this
to
time
abuse
they
Chris,
are. I
but
hate to call them out, but that is actually something that
yeah.
I don't believe was tested out.
It's either already there, or it's a future coming thing, or it's an open feature release. Because I know for a fact we've talked about it extensively on the
Yeah.
NetSapiens forums. I just don't remember if it's implemented. We can find out quickly, and we'll let you guys know afterwards.
Yeah, absolutely. Alrighty. With that being said, fax. So, as many of you know, currently we have 2 portals, one for voice and one for fax. This can cause a whole lot of, we've received a number of, complaints or, considerations for wanting a single pane of glass for fax, which is completely understandable. So we are happy to announce v.41 does support a single pane of glass for both fax and voice. You will be able to manage your fax numbers, manage users, ATAs within that portal. You will be able to send email, or you will be able to send faxes from within the portal and email to fax, and vice versa. So as you can see here, you have the fax account and you can see all of their numbers. You can see the actual serial numbers of those accounts and see the statuses of the faxes that are there, the device types that we have available, and again, how you're going to handle those faxes, the different options that you have available to you.
So guys, one of the big takeaways here and key factor I want to talk about, this is different from the stuff we're using from MFAX. This is a different ATA. It's from audio codes. It's a different platform. Now, you won't see the backend platform. It won't matter because it'll all be integrated in NetSapiens, which is exactly why we're going this way. We will not decommission the existing MFAX platform. It will be an option for you. So I know when we moved from V1 to V2, there was some growing pains and there was stuff going on in there. We are not going to be doing that with MFAX. We will leave it live. If you want to stay there in perpetuity, you can. However, I have a strong feeling with these, this is a more cost advantageous platform. It's the ATAs are much cheaper. I have a feeling most of you are going to want to move over to this. The only exception are new white label partners. New white label partners will be 100% on this when it's put out.
Absolutely. So as you guys can see, in addition to all of that, you can also see error handling. I know in the MFAX platform, you guys have that, those lovely fax error codes you're also familiar with. There is a little bit more, a much easier way of seeing those fax errors here and seeing that troubleshooting information as well here. So, really excited about this feature. Jumping into that from MMS. So as you all know, we do support SMS in the portal currently, Snap Mobile, and Snap Mobile Web. We will be supporting MMS in v.41, sending images and emojis, which are already pretty fun stuff. Snap Mobile, iOS, and Android will support it in version 3.0, and we will be allowing images, audio, and video up to 5 megabytes. In addition to that, we also are allowing for group chats. Group chat, and I believe
There's another highly requested feature, hugely
yes,
requested feature.
we get that all of the time. Group chat is, we will be able to do it with chat, and I believe that group chat SMS will also be enabled, Ray.
Group chat SMS, yes. Group chat MMS, I think, is a future thing.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's so those are so you do have SMS capability, not as MMS. Yeah, like Ray said, in the future. But group chats here are actually pretty useful. Like you can see here, you can add multiple groups. You can choose to rename them, turn off notifications, leave conversations even if you want to. You can also send. And then in chat, group chat, again, in the portal is enabled via MMS, just not, or can send as multimedia, rather, better said, in the portal. Next is the contacts panel, and maybe Chris sees a familiar face up here, but
we may or may not have taken some of the screenshots from another presentation.
Yes.
Oh, look, there we go. Chris Hawker saying Group MMS is there for supported vendors.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about it at this session, but our UC Director platform for DID management will show you which numbers are available for T38, for faxing, for SMS, for MMS. So it'll be very apparent what numbers, because not all numbers will be. But you'll be able to pick and choose what's going on there.
Perfect. Absolutely. Alrighty, so contacts panel. This one has actually been, this is actually a really nice upgrade, and maybe a little bit more underappreciated, but it really redesigned and made a lot simpler. As you can see, they've added Gravatar support for profile pictures. It's easier to launch messaging or calling. You can see recent conversations that you've had. One thing to note on the recent conversations is it will show you the last message that was sent to you. And it will keep multiple tabs open, so it'll keep that, if you have your contacts panel open, it will keep it open consistently as you go through. And then next into that is probably one that I'm most excited to announce, which is Snap HD. Snap HD is our video conferencing solution.
No, hold on. I don't think we need to talk about video, because nobody here was interested in video. None of our partners cared about video. Nobody has asked 1,000 times over, when are we going to have video collaboration? When can we compete with Zoom? Nobody cares, Marissa. I think we can skip this thing altogether.
You know what? You're absolutely
If you guys want to hear about Snap HD or video, go ahead and put it in the chat. Maybe we'll talk about it. But yeah, I don't think anybody's interested. Go ahead. I'm just giving you a hard time. Go ahead, Marissa.
You guys are too funny. But yes, our video conferencing solution presented by Sapiens. It's absolutely fantastic. I'm so excited to be able to present this. We have seen this firsthand, actually. The Sapiens webinars have been done using Snap HD recently, and I can tell you it's really, really great, guys. So as you can see here, like I said, you can do webinar presentations, you can schedule your meetings, do recurring meetings, create calendar invites, invite partners from within the portal. As you can see here, you have a quick view screen where you can see upcoming meetings, where to start meetings, view past ones as well. Your meeting options are extremely extensive, so you can do a conference or a presentation, which is, a little bit more like a webinar style, set different permissions per meeting. You have recording and playback, things like that. It's absolutely amazing.
So scheduling invites when you schedule completely through the browser, so you don't have to install anything. That's a big deal. That happens also. That gets requested a lot. That's one of the places Zoom shines, right? You don't have to install any plugins. Webex, you have to install something. GoToMeeting, you have to install something. So being able to just go to the browser and work similar to what we're doing here, that's a big deal. So we want to make sure, and full SSO, like we've been talking about.
Absolutely. And So, with that being said, let's go into some of our more minor improvements. Some of these are really great. We didn't have enough time to go through everything, but, really worth mentioning, and I think a lot of you are going to appreciate them, such as being able to import templates using domain defaults. For my white label partners who have had to import users and constantly turn off voicemail transcription, definitely benefit. In addition to that, importing templates. Well, actually, we'll get into that with bug features, but being able to add multiple agents to a call queue at once, no more having to add 25 people, one by one, having to set those features. Stir shaken is definitely another one that's going to be really big here. That's, for that caller ID on spam calling, to be able to make that a little bit easier. Inventory filters resetting automatically. Being able to add SIP trunks. You will now be able to view SIP trunks from within a domain and manage and route those SIP trunks from within that domain. No more having to exit out and go to your root view and click into it, and click into SIP trunk and then go back and forth. You will be able to add domain and site device overrides from within the manager portal. BLFs on Do Not Disturb for Yealink will, or Do Not Disturb will then push out to BLFs for Yealink devices, and improve jitter buffer as well.
So I see some stuff in the chat, and I'm going to take the opportunity to talk about that. Some of these features will be an additional cost. Some of these features will be included free. Text-to-speech, speech-to-text, single sign-on, multi-factor, those things will be free. The Snap HD will be an add-on. Work with your account manager. They'll discuss pricing with you. So some other things, device overrides per site. It's an open feature request, Lauren. NetSapiens is aware of it. Feedback.oit.co, so we can show the votes, but absolutely, it's already an open feature request. Stir shaken, for those of you who don't know, stir shaken is authentication and authorization for voice calls. It's certificate based. It means that the carrier has proof or has some kind of proof saying you are who you are and you own that number, or you have rights to that number when you're making calls. It's meant to prevent spam and robocalling. We're working with a third-party vendor named TransNexus to both incorporate Stir Shaken and also to work on some robocalling functionality for filtering. That will be further on in this year, but absolutely coming this year.
Also, not to cut you off really quick there, Ray, but just to clarify, site overrides are available in v.41 right now. So no need for a feature request, Lauren.
So there you saw it. We made a request, and that's actually done. You can tell who makes the requests and who implements the requests. So, yeah. I don't think I like having either of you two in the chat anymore. No, but that's awesome. So, I mean, site-based overrides, I remember that was a huge, huge thing people were begging for. Mm-hmm. Especially when it comes to stuff like multicast paging, when it comes stuff to, specific speed dials. I mean, it's a huge thing. iOS and Android apps, yes, they're getting upgraded. Snap Mobile 3.0, we released the code already. We've updated the code internally to support it. iOS, Android, Snap Mobile 3.0 later this year. And Marissa has this site override pointed out on the slide. Thanks, Lauren. I didn't need that. So, but yeah, both of them, and they're using 3.0 is using a new SDK on the back end, for increased reliability and, because there's always those push issues we have headaches with, and iOS and Android make it a moving target for the developers. We understand that. So, yes, and yes to your questions. Is that it for v.41? Because we got some other stuff to talk about.
We do. I do want to go over bug fixes really quickly, because I know that some of these have been a pet peeve of my partners for a very long time. And us, yes. So first one I want to go over, users unable to edit users of the same extension. So I know for some of my white label partners having to edit, and even our channel partners, if you are on OITVOIP service, and you had extension 100 and you had another, you had a client who was also extension 100, certain changes could not be made. That has been fixed. User imports for my white label partners. If you failed to import with user scope, I know that's something that I've had plenty of issues with, that we get those tickets put in. Now, if you forget to input a field, if something is missing, it will import, not fail, with domain defaults. Callback feature not able to answer through Snap Mobile Web, that has been resolved. Snap Builder not showing names on BLFs, that has also been resolved, and all scopes unable to make changes to Snap Builder templates has been resolved as well. So really awesome bug fixes. Like I said, big round of applause to the NetSapiens team for all of the work they put into v.41. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Ray because I know that he has a million things that he wants to talk about on this session.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of those things, these are the bug fixes and features that we're showing you guys. The amount of bug fixes and features added on the back end dwarf what we just showed you now. Which is one of the reasons we use the NetSapiens platform. It is more and more and more reliable and more feature rich with every single release that passes. And it's on such a frequent cadence that we really enjoy it, and our partners do too. So, just telling you that, which is pretty awesome. We thank the NetSapiens team. It's not just Chris and his whole team for doing it. And that's not lip service because he's here. He's here because we have such a great relationship with the NetSapiens staff, which I think all of our partners get the benefit of. So unfortunately, Teammate, who is powering our Teams integration, is a silver sponsor here. He was going to be, Micah Abrams is going to be here, Micah Singer is going to be here to answer questions and be in the booth. He couldn't do it today because he's actually doing a webinar for NetSapiens. So, it actually worked out pretty funny. But we are releasing Teammate. We've been using it internally. It's what enabled us to work from home immediately. We've been using it since late February. It has some really cool stuff like portal integration within Teams. I tried doing a screen share of my Teams earlier, showing the SSO integration and the mobile app or the portal app, and it broke. I got this inception thing going on, so I'm not going to do it this time. But I see my screen flickering just thinking about it, so I don't want to make it worse. But yeah, but Teams, the portal will be there, so you'll be able to manage your calls from within Teams. The reason you guys care, and I did a little bit of talking about this morning, the reason you guys care is because Teams itself is not a complete phone system. It's not. But for the millions and millions or billions at this point of users out there using Teams since COVID, they see it's an available option, and so they want this. This is the best mix of both worlds. All call routing, call management, call logging, call recording, because Teams doesn't have call recording, all of that will be done in NetSapiens in the manager portal. You will be able to have your Yealink phone with the OpenSIP firmware, registered and provisioned the way you normally do as one extension on your user, and you'll be able to have your Teams soft phone as your extension on the computer, and it's just another letter on your phone, on your user. It is pretty great because things like failover, right? If the phone is offline and rerouting the calls, Teams doesn't have a convention for that. NetSapiens does, so we can do that with our platform. We can account for those things. More complex auto attendance or the text-to-speech, speech-to-text, because we're going to be using Teams with our platform, those will be available from within Teams. Thanks, Chris. Appreciate you being on, man. We'll catch you tomorrow. But all these things that Teams is missing, now you don't have to pick either or. You can have and that's a big, big deal. So, they will have to have a Teams license. Your account manager will help work with you to explain how that works out, but they will have to have their Teams license or their Teams voice license. depending on what license they have, if they have E3, E5, or one of the M365 SKUs. There will be an add-on for us for the teams. Channel partners will work with you to make the pricing make sense. Keep in mind, this is a premium feature. This is not something that's just you're going to sell and win based on price. White label partners, it'll be positioned at a way where you can still do it and it'll make financial sense for you. And like we announced this morning, all OIT partners, including those who sign up during this event, will get Teams for the next 12 months for use in their internal organization at no cost. We want you to see it because here's the thing, as much as you've heard me talk badly about Teams, here's the thing I don't say often enough. Teams is the best desktop soft phone I've seen ever. As a soft phone app for making and receiving calls, it's pretty great. Marissa, do you have opinions on that?
Absolutely, I 100% agree. I know that we've had we've been in testing internally for quite some time now. Noe and myself and Ray have been working extremely closely with Micah, getting this, getting all the snags out, and making sure that everything works as well as it can. But it's extremely robust, and it's extremely, it is very user friendly. Some of the other desktop applications, not to say that they're bad, but they may not be as user friendly as because they're built more towards people who are familiar with VoIP, with SIP clients. Whereas for an end user, that may be a little more confusing. But it is extremely robust and it is extremely user friendly, and I'm actually very excited to use it.
Sorry, I had myself muted. Yeah, absolutely. It's really, really cool. So we also talked about our cell phone technology, and my chats went ablaze. People went nuts asking about the cell phone stuff. I tend to drop those little nuggets and everybody goes nuts. The mobile app. So this will not be an application. This will not be a soft phone. This will be a SIM card or an eSIM later this year, but a SIM card, more sooner. Words are hard. So it'll be an eSIM or a physical SIM that you'll add onto the phone, and it will use the phone's native features, meaning calls through 4G, calls through 5G. It will not be using data for calls. So there's no push notification stuff you have to worry about. It's a native call. SMS and MMS, they're working on getting implemented, so it's unified with the manager portal. But it's an awesome, awesome, awesome technology. And I do think there's a use case because all of the call routing is just like with Teams. All of the call routing and management and recording and all those feature sets will be in the management portal. Why that matters to you? Distributed sales organization, right? Every team that's ever had a sales team, every company has ever had a sales team ever, when that salesperson leaves, the calls go with them because they make calls from their cells all the time. This way, they're using their cells, so they have the thing that's easiest for them. But you have unified call logging, you have unified call reporting, unified call management, whether it goes to the desk phone or the cell phone. Those of you that have done the pickup call, right, passing calls from your Snap Mobile to your desk phone, you'll be able to do that with a cell phone. Those kind of things, extension to extension dialing over your cell phone. How freaking cool is that? I mean, that's about as cool as it gets. And you'll be using the same cell networks as opposed to using data. Yes, the cell phones would have an extension. They would be 1009T, 1009M, whatever. They would have an extension, so it would just be part of that user. There will be an additional line cost, obviously, for the cell, and there's data available, stuff like that. But iOS and Android fully supported. It'll be nice. I see Shabir's asking a question. Any integration options with Cisco Webex? No, we're not looking at any. There's nothing planned or even talked about right now that I'm aware of for Cisco Webex. Snap HD is the direction that Sapiens is going. Yes, for the eSIM, it will act as a full replacement for your cell phone. If you have a dual SIM phone, you can have two lines, and one of ours and one of theirs. But absolutely, Daniel, you will be able to do that. So we threw a lot at you, and we have about 15 minutes left. I wanted to have this as an open Q&A. Any questions you guys have, or anybody that wants to be adventurous and jump onto video here? Let's see who we got people-wise, so I can call on somebody.
Yeah.
There's always somebody you want to call on, right?
I see so many familiar partners.
There's
It's
so
great to
many
see you
people
all.
here. Yeah. Let's see here.
So I see Mike Egbert asking a question. Has there been
Yep.
any movement toward Salesforce integration and click-to-call?
Okay, cool. So awesome. Yes. Yes, there absolutely is. We announced this morning we will have a full suite of integrations with a website that will show a website that you'll be able to search your integrations on Salesforce, ConnectWise, Autotask, Zoho, Zendesk, tons of stuff with call logging, click to call. We do have our Chrome call extension, Google Chrome extension that's rebrandable for free for white label partners, usable for free for channel partner and direct. That's available today, but the integration, the Communicator app, will further extend that. Yes, the cell phone service, we will have multiple plan options. There will not be a unlimited everything type plan unless you're white label. White label, you can carve it out however you want. So, but your price from us will be per line, absolutely, and it will have data allotments. You'll be able to pick your data allotment. So hopefully it answers. The underlying carrier, CJ, I believe, is Verizon. So if you have good Verizon, you're good there. If you have dual SIM, for example, Pixel 3a or 4, does it store the calls in a single call log or separate? I don't know. I believe it's a single one. I haven't tested with a dual SIM phone in a long time. I believe you get a single call history, but it designates on the call history what line it came from. But you still get that unified thing.
Yeah, it's just, I believe it's going to be a similar functionality to those of you who have the Android, since you can register currently a SIP phone to the native Android app, where it designates which one is a SIP, whether it's using the SIP client or whether it's using your SIM card. I believe it's similar functionality to that.
Yeah. Obviously, this will be an additional cost thing. White label will be able to put their own branding on this. So there's some commitments and stuff like that because you're still becoming an MVNO, but it's much lower threshold. It's not the several 100,000 or even thousands it used to be. Not even close. Let's see here. I agree. It is amazing, Daniel. Thanks.
I see Lisa asking if we can demo any of the new stuff.
You have sandbox access if you want to show some stuff.
I can absolutely show some stuff. Let me get logged in.
Let's take some time. Yeah.
Absolutely. We have a few minutes.
I love that Lisa's spending more time with us than she is in her own booth. I absolutely love that, Lisa.
I have no complaints. I think Lisa's great.
Lisa's awesome.
Hi. And I believe... yeah,
Tyler. I mean,
it
it works to my disadvantage because I'm in Miami. So here, AT&T is king. With that said, I've had Google Fi for a couple of years. We've all, my family, we've all had Google Fi, which is Sprint, T-Mo, and US Cellular, I think. And it has been actually decently reliable. But especially like the Northeast, stuff like that, Verizon, I mean, is king. Verizon has fantastic coverage. So it was definitely a quality over pricing selection.
Absolutely. Alrighty, so I do have the manager portal up and running, and we love you too, Lisa. So let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, conference, Chrome tab, manager portal. So I'm starting off right from the login page because I know so many of you are excited for that multi-factor authentication and SSO. So as you can see here, we've got options for both. I am just going to quickly log in with my own testing screen and enter my OAuth code here. So you can see it prompts me for that security code. I'm going to go ahead and get logged in. Click submit. And here we have that sandbox page. So as you can see, we've got our names. Where previously you had multiple, that attendant console, Snap Mobile, I can imagine how long that must get. You now have the apps page where you have all of those options available to you. I'll go ahead and
Let me bring up here. We can add a menu option here at the top for you. We've done this for other white label partners. This has been something we haven't shout it out across the rooftops, and I apologize for that. But one of our partners, two of our partners did ask for it. This is one of those things, if you're on Discord, you get the conversations. We can add your help desk link or your website link or something else on that top bar for white label partners. You just got to submit a request, and there's no cost for it.
Absolutely. Okay, and then, so let me go ahead and open my domain quick launch. Now, so again, since some of these features aren't going to be rolled out immediately, some of them haven't been enabled quite yet as we're still in the process of testing some. So some of the things you can see, like I had mentioned, the SIP trunks won't be entirely available, but we do have a sites tab. So as you can see here, you have that site configuration set up. So we've got, our different users. We have some, I believe, Malcolm Reynolds, and Ray, I don't know if you want to have anybody guess where that user is from.
So I have a big pile of Snom phones, and somebody asked me, Snom's a sponsor and they're an event sponsor, and somebody asked me this morning if we're giving away Snom stuff because they're junk and we don't like them, or because they're good stuff. They're actually really good stuff, and we're going to talk about that. And actually, this is probably a session to do it. We're going to talk about that. The Snom is a new interop partner. It works 100% with NetSapiens, with v.41. But we're giving away the hardware because I like it. So we'll take the opportunity now. If you put in chat, you're the first person to tell me where Malcolm Reynolds is from, you get one of these phones. I will send you one of the M series cordless. And this is one of the M series for hospitality. You really see where the delay is when you ask stuff live in real time. That's interesting. Nobody knows who Malcolm Reynolds is. This is going to make my daughter happy and me sad. So Malcolm Reynolds is the captain of The Firefly, which is a TV show. Serenity, yes, thank you, Glenn. I appreciate it. Glenn needs a new phone too. He's got that old Polycom for Rent Central. Glenn is getting a phone. You know what? Nothing could have made me more happy than Glenn getting a phone. Congratulations, Glenn. Good job, man. All right, Marissa, go ahead.
That was pretty great. Yeah, I love to give. So I am a fan of Firefly and Serenity. The movie, but I love to give Ray a hard time because for those of you who don't know, Malcolm Reynolds is played by Nathan Fillion, who is better known for his role as Castle. So every time he brings him up, I go,
Not better known.
I think your chat just proved my point. So
we have 10 minutes left. Let's go.
Anyway, so let me go ahead and set somebody to a site manager. So like I was saying, and we can go ahead and because he doesn't have a site assigned. So in order to assign somebody as a site manager, you do need to assign them to a site, otherwise it will be grayed out. Is obviously you can't manage a site that doesn't exist. So now let me go ahead and masquerade. And you'll see here that as a site manager, you can make changes to users within your own site. You can edit them, set them up as needed. You have the sites here that you can manage, as you can see. And like I said, you have that caller ID, 911 view, caller name, things like that you can configure as needed. In addition to that, we also have our auto attendance and text-to-speech. But before we go into that, let me actually show you guys how to set up your actual Mfa and Sso. So like I said, it has to be done from the user. And if you try to impersonate, it'll actually fail here. You'll see change account security cannot be done during a masquerade. You do have to have the user set this up themselves. Luckily, we have really great docs on it at our new doc site. So within the profile page, if you scroll all the way down, you'll see here setting up single sign-on and SSO, or multi-factor authentication, I apologize. You can configure both if you have both a O365 and Google account. Let's say you have a personal one you want to be able to log in with. That's not a problem at all. In addition to that, since I'm already in here, we can talk about our text-to-speech. So you have here at the bottom, if we scroll down with my voicemail greetings, you'll see here I have a text-to-speech option. You can type in any message. Hi, my name is Marissa, let's say. You have your voices that you can select here. You can play the voices individually to listen to how they're going to sound, and that applies to all of them. As a user managing multiple domains, or as a reseller managing multiple domains, when you edit them, you will be able to configure defaults here for voicemail. So for example, thank you for calling, first name, last name, and setting those options. So anytime you create a new user, they will have this default message set, and they can always change it at any time.
You want to show the site overrides?
Absolutely.
That's a question. Oh, so on the domain, you will be able to set fax limitations too. It's not in this sandbox, which is why you can't see it, but just like you can limit inbound, outbound calls, you can actually limit fax items as well, and that'll be in the documentation.
Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and jump into, I'm just going to, a domain that has phones. Got our phone hardware. Actually, I don't believe that this is, I think it has to be done via NDP. Or rather, we have to have users with sites. We'll give Vic a site, because why not?
So I'm getting a lot of excitement about the cell phone stuff, which is crazy because I thought it would be a good revenue opportunity, but apparently you guys are really loving it. I'd love to see in the chat what features you're most excited about. Because we're doing this for you guys. You know what I mean? The poor tech team and the projects team work tirelessly testing and documenting this stuff. But it's all for you guys. So let us know what you love or what you don't love, or if you want to see something different. Feedback.oit.co. So if you want to see something different, let us know. Shameless plug. I'll do it like Linus Tech Tips.
Yeah, I believe site overrides have to be done in NDP, actually. Just like the domain defaults. So
yeah. So, but really cool stuff. We're 5 until, so we'll cut it short, let you guys go. Unless anybody has any questions you want asked, we're happy to answer for you. We'll be around. I apologize for anybody that tagged me and tried to start a video call with me during the session. I actually ran out and got lunch real quick, and I forgot to log out. But I will be on for the next half hour in between. Before the next session, before the sales and marketing session. Sales and marketing session coming up. It's the Partner Central launch, where we have all these marketing materials and all these trainings and all your quote request forms, and soon to be porting and DID management, DID orders. So do not miss that. Sites, group chat, MFA, sites. DJ set comes on there may or may not be a DJ set after the magic show. That comes on later tonight at the happy hour. It's also when we're doing tons of giveaways. Don't forget to visit your sponsors, your booths, get the keywords for your chance to win cool gear. We're giving away Yealink stuff. Go ahead.
I see Blaine asking if Snom is going to provision as easy as Yealink. I think that's
yes. Yes, because they all have a different name. Yealink has PDMS, or Yealink has RPS and YMHCS or YMCS and YMCA and OPP, and Poly has ZTP and PDMSSP, previously ObiTalk. Snom has SRAPs, which is kind of freaking cool. I love that. Yo, SRAPs, whatever. Anyway, so Snom has it. That's their remote provisioning service, which is just a redirect to NDP. Full Snap Builder config management, full integration, easy provisioning. Add the Mac, add the SRAPs, and you got provisioning. So you'll definitely love it. Teams integration will be game changing. I absolutely agree with you, CJ. Tyler, talk to your account manager about the 365 costs. I've gone into it ad nauseum with them. They know how to price and package this for you. Or grab me, we'll talk about it. It's going to be a value thing, not a price thing. Cell option, HD. Shabir, I know you asked for improved GUI. I'm begging them for improved GUI. So the more times you can say it, the better, because Chris Ocker did see that. I don't disagree at all. But if I have to pick pretty or functional, I'm picking functional every time, and they're giving us functional in spades. Should we be doing Snom instead of Yealink? With that, I'm going to let you guys go. If you guys have any other questions, go ahead and DM us. Thank you so much for being on. Marissa, thank you for your awesome presentation. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys. It was really great, being able to present this. It's been so exciting and so hard to keep quiet. So I'm glad we can finally talk about it with you guys now. Can't
Oh,
wait.
it's been so hard. So many people ask me, and we're dying to tell you because we're like the Tom Hollands of like the VoIP world. We want to tell you guys this stuff, but yeah, I'm glad we can finally release it. All right, I'll see you guys around. Take care.
Bye, guys.